Hey, how's it going everyone? It is Only here, welcome back to another video. Of course, as always, I've had quite a bit of time to play with Death Stranding, and I wanted to talk about it with you guys today because I know this game's going to be a long one, so in case the review doesn't come out for maybe at least another week or two, I figured I'd at least give you kind of like my first impressions on the game's core combat, the opening hours of the game, and just overall my impressions on how it feels to play and what I think about the game overall so far. So I think right off the bat, to tell you how far in the game I am, I'm not too far in. I'm taking my time with the game. I'm currently on episode 2. As I said, I'm not trying to rush through it at all by any means. I don't really like to do that because, quite frankly, if you wait so long to play these games, it's kind of stupid if you just rush through the game to just knock it out that quickly. Yeah, just savor the experience in that kind of case. And yeah, with that, I'm probably around at least a little over 5 hours with the game, I want to say, roughly, give or take. Yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit so far. The opening of this game is very cinematic. There's a lot of, cinematics in the first hour of the game before it really lets you loose and kind of play the game that way, you want, giving you the agency as a player. Yeah, a lot of the game's marketing material is in the first hour of the game, pretty much. Like a lot of cutscenes you'll remember from like E3 or the Game Awards. A lot of those cool, cutscenes. I have to say I like a lot of the cinematics in the game. Definitely probably one of the highlights is when the game actually does the cinematics. Yeah, they're just really well made, and it just the closest thing you can get really to a movie, I feel like. Yeah, Kojima's just done a really good job at making this world feel very dark and just giving it that sense of presence it has. Yeah, I know everyone's gonna want to know about this. It's pretty much the reason why I know a lot of people personally are still on the fence about buying this game. The gameplay, how does it feel? Let me go through the traversal first because I feel like that one isn't covered as much as, everyone likes to mock the combat, so we'll talk about that after. How does the game feel while traversing? I have to say, it feels pretty realistic. Now, of course, we heard about this game being a very realistic, UPS, hiking simulator, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, for the most part, it is very, hands-on. You can pretty much customize how you're going to move throughout the game. If you want to attach stuff to your, different body parts of your suit, fully have the, agency and just the ability to do that and make it how you want to roll. If you want to have a lot of cargo and try to go for these big deliveries, just stack more on your back that you can carry. It's going to make, traversing through the world a lot more kind of, I guess, a pushback because you're going to be stumbling left and right and you got to really balance that. Yeah, I guess to give controls, L2 and R2 are like pretty much your hands on your strap. If you're not holding any packages in your hand, L2 and R2 will be holding down your backpack. You're going to move a little bit more sturdier, but you're also going to move a little bit slower, so it's kind of a trade-off. So if you're getting, chased by some of the enemies in the game, you might not want to go for that, It definitely also is going to add to the stealth, effect where if you can't really hide in tall grass, if you have packages, stacked above your head. So there is a little bit of a stealth limit, if you're going with these big deliveries, it's going to be a lot more riskier because you're slower, you're taller, so you're more visible, as well as just overall it's a lot harder to move when you have a lot more strapped to your body. The controls are very realistic, whether you're going up slopes or down slopes, whether it's raining, all that factors in, especially with the weight on your back. A lot of that factors just whatever you think is going to happen probably is going to happen, which makes it really easy, at the same time hard to traverse around the world because you know what's going to happen. You have this little scanner there, which is pretty much a lifesaver because it pretty much pings out, notable kind of landmarks, whether that's lost cargo, player-built structures around the world, or just overall the terrain. And if it's yellow or green, that means it's pretty safe. If it's red, obviously that means you're gonna have a tough time climbing it up and not recommended. So yeah, it is pretty cool how it has those kind of tools there. A lot of it is your decisions that you make around the map, just the different factors in the game in terms of time deliveries and stuff. It's ultimately a big giant realistic open world, and you kind of traverse how you want it, how big you want to go for these deliveries. If you want to actually go for multiple at a time, you're gonna have to sacrifice kind of your mobility. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a reason why I loved Red Dead so much, was because of this realistic open world with, in terms of the horse and micromanaging everything that you have on you. Absolutely love that, and with Death Stranding, I am liking it a lot. Yeah, again, the gameplay can be a little bit boring if you have a lot strapped on your back. You feel like you're kind of limitless, but again, that's kind of up to you, the player, so, play according to how you want to play. Yeah, I will say, though, once you get past the opening hour of this game, it does feel like it just kind of turns into a side quest open world game. The first hour feels very kind of, hugging you closely and telling you what it wants to do, and then once you get past that mark, it's kind of lets you loose, which I like at the same time, but at the same time, I really feel like I'm near the end game of an open world where I just have a lot of side quests to do. So, I guess this is throwing out a lot, but if you don't really like the whole system of micromanaging, you know, the weight that you have on you and just traversing through this open world, you're not going to like this game. Those are like the key factors. If you don't like the idea of, you know, strapping on packages, seeing how much you can weight, you know, kind of playing smart, you know, building ladders and traversing through this open world, you're not going to like this game. Like, even if you are playing for the story, there's just so much of this gameplay that's in between the story that you won't like this game. So you just got to be fully on board with the idea that you're traversing through this deadly open, you know, US that has, you know, a lot of danger to it, but at the same time it's very peaceful. And yeah, it's kind of nice in that way to kind of relax and just go about the world. The BTs are pretty cool. I definitely do like how, you know, you have to stay still to see the BTs, and it's kind of like a game that you play, like a chess kind of game where you move one step at a time and kind of deal with that. I'm kind of at the point of the game where I'm kind of getting into the idea of, you know, fighting against, you know, BTs. In the beginning, you're really limitless to just, you know, maneuvering around them or running. It's pretty much a fight or flight thing, but ultimately you end up going to just be running away in the early hours of the game because you just don't have much to deal with them. I'm getting to the point where that's starting opening up, especially with vehicles too. I think I just got my first motorcycle, so I'm starting to see how this game's evolving over time, which is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how the online components kind of expand. Right now, I'm pretty much only accessible to like watchtowers, which give you like a general area, you know, glance in terms of like player-built structures and the resources around that you have in that kind of area, if it's connected to a network. I also have things like bridges that I'm starting to unlock, which I have unlocked like a couple hours ago, and just now getting into like, you know, vehicles and just, you know, fighting against BTs, which is pretty cool. So looking forward to seeing how the game expands from here. I definitely do like the story, but I feel like at the same time I haven't seen enough of it to really judge it. Right now I'm pretty much in the early hours of the game. Most of the cinematics are in the first hour and a half or so, as I said before. And yeah, the gameplay is just going to be crucial whether you like this game or not. You really got to be, you know, down for just, you know, traversing through the world and being okay with just tedious. You're going to be going back and forth between a lot of places if you want to do a lot of the side quests, and you just got to be fine with that. So yeah, I guess I'll speak on the combat because, you know, this is very hit or miss. The combat's pretty much what you'd expect. It's not that, like, loose. I mean, the stealth isn't that bad from what I can tell. Like, if I want to sneak up on enemies, so far I've been able to do that, you know, with little to no trouble. But again, it's just going to be, you know, when you're actually fighting against them, you're pretty much just sprinting, you know, away from them. And then when they catch up to you, you're just, like, spamming square, or you have, like, this whole, like, strand, which you try to, like, you know, counter their moves and try to tie them up. Yeah, it's pretty basic so far. I'm looking forward to getting, you know, better weapons later on in the game where I can hopefully make that combat system a little bit more easier. Because honestly, like, just avoiding combat seems more fun for my opinion. Just, it seems a lot more fun to just avoid it and take your own route than, you know, getting chased by them. For those wondering, you know, the people that are kind of like the enemies in this game so far, at least in the early hours, are pretty much people that like try to take your stuff and try to take these packages. And of course, you being, you know, the porter that you are that delivers packages from like city to city, obviously, you know, a lot of missions are going to be trying to like break in there and try to get those back. So yeah, they're a clear enemy in the game. At least I'm pretty sure there's a lot of different factions in the game, so that will open up. But right now it's pretty much the Musks and the BTs. So yeah, currently that's where I'm at right now. I'm looking forward to playing more. You know, I've seen the kind of same kind of general environment. As I said, this is like my impressions video. Yeah, it definitely takes a while to get into the game. As I said, I'm like 5 to 6 hours in, and I'm definitely still like in the beginning part of the game. I feel like I haven't progressed that much, besides maybe like 2 or 3 cities really in terms of like finding. Yeah, I've found like 3 different cities so far, or at least establishments, so even then they're kind of like just districts. I will say the one thing is the world really does feel dead. Like a lot of cutscenes just feel like you're only with 1 or 2 characters, and like the rest of the world, like I don't feel like I see a motivation to kind of connect everyone. Because you just see these guys behind holograms, and it's like they're not really there. And especially like the big city that you start off with, like you see no one around really, so it feels very lonely in that way, and it doesn't really give you that kind of motivation to continue on. Like just pretty much the whole cast of characters are like celebrities, which is kind of funny and kind of also takes you out of the game in a weird way. Yeah, so there is that. Again, I haven't really seen the later parts of the game. Definitely takes a bit of time to get into it. It's definitely not a game that's going to show its true colors, you know, right away, which to many it's kind of like a, you know, that's going to kill the game for them. But at the same time, I'm determined to see this through because I'm enjoying the traversal so far, and definitely the online components, you know, finding player-built stuff for you to use and traverse around the map is really cool, and the whole idea of liking them, leaving your own stuff for other people, you know, if you can't, you know, carry a package because it's just adding too much weight, you can offload it, and likely a player online will be able to see that going forward in like one of their playthroughs and will help out with that way. It kind of speaks a cool message, and you know, it is really cool. As I said, like, you know, I don't see this carrying on as like a genre that Kojima's been saying, but at the same time, you know, I don't really think it needs to be a genre. This is just kind of like a cool one-off game. It's cool that this is like a big AAA game. It's very different. Yeah, you'd see it, at least with this kind of budget, you wouldn't see go into this kind of game, which is interesting. I'm glad it exists in that way, but we'll see how it goes forward. Of course, I'm only speaking on the first 5 or 6 hours of the game. Enjoying it so far, as I said. Looking forward to seeing more about the game, but it definitely is very just, this is literally UPS simulator. It exactly pretty much is that, with the clunky combat system. So as I said, it's really going to determine in terms of like how this game evolves over time, because, you know, with access to like vehicles and different player built things as you progress through the game, it's going to be interesting. And of course the story is also like the second big pillar to that to make this worthwhile. So we'll see if it can stick its landing. Of course, I'm going to try to review this game in a pretty, you know, efficient time. I'm going to definitely try to play through some more this weekend as I have some time opening up here. And yeah, I'm enjoying for the game. Of course, I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. If you guys did pick up this game, let me know what you think. If you didn't, let me know why you didn't pick it up so far. If you're on the fence, of course, that's of course a valid option as well. Yeah, again, just thank you for the support, and thank you guys for watching for the videos. I've been trying to be a bit more consistent lately on the channel, and yeah, enjoying it so far, and looking forward to just continuing on and playing more Death Stranding for you guys. So yeah, of course, I've been online, of course, or Brandon. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here and want to see more videos like this on the channel. Look out for my Death Stranding review to come out in the following week or two. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.